I also made the case for owning Bitcoin, the quintessence of scarcity premium. It's literally the only large tradable asset in the world that has a known fixed maximum supply. By its design, the total quantity of Bitcoins cannot exceed 21 million.
Bitcoin is the hardest money that has ever been invented.
If you don't have my private key, you cannot spend my Bitcoin, period. And this is the power of Bitcoin.
It's the first time we figured out how to create true property that you can take possession of with full custodial rights.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking in Bits, where we walk you through Bitcoin bit by bit so we can provide you with the information you need to succeed and persist. Back with solo rip number 5 here on the Saturdays, where we have the extra time to be able to listen to more information, get more content, and as always, listen to me rip on a bunch of Bitcoin stuff. Just a friendly reminder, we still do have the Wednesday episodes. I like to consider that the main chain of Talking in Bits. So that's when that's up to 62 episodes. That's where I bring on fantastic guests who provide me their time and give you some value every single Wednesday. And I got some good ones coming up, so pay attention to the main chain. These solo rips are more like the side chain. And like I said, it's just a time for me to focus on certain things that I want to say. And as you'll see later on, allow you to get on the show and be introduced to the show. So welcome to solo rip number 5. I want to start by talking about the Bitcoin weathermen. You guys have heard it on the podcast before. The Bitcoin weathermen are basically the analytics guys, the chart guys, the ones with the colorful stuff and the different graphs and the ones that tell you that this is going to crash and all that stuff, man. I got it. They're coming back strong, obviously, because Bitcoin is doing like the crab thing where it's kind of just sitting in place. You obviously get the two different arenas of weathermen. You get the weathermen that are disaster weathermen that are like, oh, this thing's gonna tank, this thing's gonna go down. On the low, I think most of them are just trying to pad their pockets or get more Bitcoin before everybody comes in. But there is that side of the party, and then there's the other party, which is basically just focused on one thing and one thing alone, and that's number go up and going all the way to the moon. So those two parties exist. They keep going back and forth. They keep showing you charts. They keep telling you, these doomsday scenarios and all that stuff. But I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter ultimately. First of all, if you know Bitcoin, you know that doesn't matter at all. But it doesn't matter, and I stay bullish because of a bunch of different things. First one is the Lightning economy. I mean, this thing is starting to roll out now. I wasn't by any means earliest on Lightning or anything like that. I think I jumped on November 2020 when I built my Raspberry Blitz, my Lightning node. My node with Lightning on top of it. And yeah, it really just sat there, right? Like my node was basically just sitting around. I tried to do certain things, not extreme things, but I was in there experimenting basically. And now, as of late, right, when we talk about like what Thunder Games is doing, and shout out to Thunder Games. If you listen to last week's episode, by the time you get to this one, you would have got a little bit of insight on Thunder. But if you do what Thunder Games is doing, if you do what the Bitcoin company is doing, if you do what Oshi is doing, right, if you do all these things where now it starts to become easier for both sides of the equation, for the business owners to be able to start accepting Bitcoin, but also for us, the people that want to interact with Bitcoin, the people that know the value of instant settlement, we can also now start paying in Bitcoin. And this is where it's been really fun lately. I've been connecting to my node, and I've been using my node as my primary wallet using Zeus. And then I've been using Lightning in any other arena I can. I mean, the KYC version, as I guess, I don't know if that's officially the term, but like the Cash App model of Lightning works, and that's incredible. And shout out to the Cash App team for what they're doing. But obviously, when we saw Jack Mallers on stage a few weeks ago, and he was talking about, the video that he showed where he walked in and bought this, we want to be able to do that over Tor. We want to be able to do that from a non-KYC stack. And that's where it's starting to heat up in that example. It's starting to be much easier. I mean, BTC Pay server has been, they set the standard for this, but it's gotten extremely easier for you to just be able to like set up a button like you can do on talkinginbits.com. There's a button there, and be able to like load up an invoice where you can just immediately pay in Lightning or immediately pay in Bitcoin, and not much heavy lifting, if any at all, with most of these services to be able to do it. I think the trade-off always comes with what we always discuss, and that is, how much do you want to KYC yourself in order to get this stuff to actually work? or not work. But super excited about the lightning economy. The dollar continues to downgrade. That's another reason why I'm bullish on Bitcoin, because as we've discussed plenty of times on the show, that's Bitcoin is the safety raft, right? Like there's nothing else. So if the dollar continues to degrade itself, and here in the United States, obviously our currency is the dollar, well, where are you going to seek refuge? Where is it that you're going to, store your value, and where is it that you'll be able to transact in this new eventual economy? Like there'll be a downside to, the death of the dollar, but eventually the birth of a digital economy will boom, and Bitcoin will be behind that. So, that's another reason I'm bullish on it. You look at these numbers for inflation, you look at this weird stuff that they're doing, the donations to Ukraine and all this stuff that, we shouldn't even be, I guess, involved in. That's arguable, I'm sure, by some people, two parties in that. But my point is that if you're watching what's happening and you're paying attention, why would you not be bullish on Bitcoin? Why would anybody be selling Bitcoin right now? You shouldn't be, if you really understand two things: what's happening to the dollar and, what Bitcoin is. If you get those two things, no reason in hell why you would be selling right now. So, that's one of the reasons you have to stay bullish. But another reason that I have here is the United States doesn't equal the whole world. Right. So like, even if the US dollar continues to stay afloat somehow, some way, and, we kind of continue to use it or whatever, it's like the needs of the world, which is much bigger, is not, what the needs of the United States is. So there's a much bigger need for Bitcoin than just us here in the United States. And then naturally, if the US dollar continues to try to be the global reserve currency, the dominant force that it is right now, it's going to have to compete, in a marketing campaign, if you want, and these, other parts of the world is going to have to compete with Bitcoin. It's going to have to do things better than Bitcoin, because the free market, and eventually it will land in that situation, will decide on the easier, faster, safer, more secure form of exchange and value. So that's another reason I'm bullish, because the globe is much bigger than just the United States, and eventually the world's need will take over, more than just the US's needs. Another reason to stay bullish on Bitcoin is the reason why you should hold Bitcoin for a long time. Low time preference. Not only directly on just like holding Bitcoin and having a low time preference in that scenario, but like the bigger scope of things and what it does to your life. The tranquility that you can find now, and that lowering your time preference and doing the things that take hard work and long time to get to, like success, good health, good family, good relationships. Those things take time, and they're low time preference things. And when you start going down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, that time preference starts to get really low, and you really start thinking about 5 to 10 years. As Saylor and many others have said, or maybe Safety, you don't discount the future, right? You start to understand that future is more realistic for you. So that's another reason I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not getting that with any other asset or dollar or currency, that low time preference feeling. On the contrary, I have this thing where most people do, where it's like, don't hold on to the dollars because it continues to debase so fast. Get it and move it as fast as you can. Get it and move it as fast as you can. And that's a high time preference. So stay away from that. Bitcoin basically builds that low time preference, and it's super important. So another reason I'm bullish, and as you can see, this list just goes against whatever the weatherman can tell you, or well, the ones that are going to the moon, I guess we favor, but it's not about the price US dollar prediction. That's that's what we're trying to get away from. So it's about the SAT value. It's about what you have, right? So another reason is the developers, the builders, they continue to build and make this more secure. Most of them are doing this for free. Hopefully with our help, with our segment later on that you're about to see, we can actually help donate and support more to the devs that make these wallets possible, that make these nodes possible, that make it easy for us to onboard and secure our wealth. And then whenever there's a problem or something, are also there to respond and help clear it up. So that's another reason I'm bullish on Bitcoin, and so should you. What do I got here? As the internet decentralizes money, most use cases are going to need digital money. And there's no other version. The internet money is Bitcoin, and there's no better alternative. So whether it's like now being on your browser and streaming people through YouTube sets, or hopefully something better than YouTube, shout out to Bitcoin TV. But you guys get my point. Being able to be on an everyday website, where you can actually just stream sats. That's already becoming a reality, where you could just stream sats right through your browser from your phone, right? So like all use cases for value exchange on the internet, buying. I could think of like the legacy ones like Etsy and those things. Like imagine now eBay. Imagine now being able to transact in sats on these platforms and be able to transact. That's eventually, those use cases are eventually going to be taken over by Bitcoin and Lightning. And that's another reason I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Like that's just adoption is what that means right there. You could be at the airport watching Netflix while streaming the stuff that you actually watch value for value, instead of just paying $15 for a whole subscription that doesn't really basically, it doesn't cover the amount that you watch. You watch like 3 different, shows. When it comes to music, maybe 2 albums, and you're paying $15, not to them directly, but to this hierarchy of tree that will just dilute that value by the time it gets to the bottom, to the actual creator. So that's another reason I'm there. Miners. I love mining. I'm not going in as hard as I can. There's a few things coming up in the future here that are stopping me from doing that. But mining is the best way to earn Bitcoin, in my opinion. And miners are so clever. They always have these great ideas. You always see it on Twitter where they're just like building stuff in their house or making modifications to their house to be able to support more and more hash. And then you partner that up with the reason we need the hash to secure the network. And mining and miners in general are something that I am extremely bullish on when it comes to, flared gas. That's the common one, but hydropower. Solar power, which is not the best, but I saw somebody earlier actually post that they got solar power to actually work for them. So there's many different ways is what I'm saying. And imagine when we start finding nuclear, right? Like I would like to think that that's in our future, in our near future. So the miners are always ahead because remember, miners like incentive is to find the cheapest source of energy that they can find. So what do you think happens when that's the incentive in play? They're going to continue to find better ways to do it and more efficient ways to do it and stabilize the electric grids and be able to secure our legacy wealth and do it in a good way. And not to mention all the stuff you can do from, the what comes out of mining, right? So like when it comes to heat and it's endless how immersion. I didn't even talk about that. What the miners are doing have me completely bullish. The industry of mining has me completely bullish because if we're talking about security for the network and the security gets better and better and better as we go on, meaning more hash, and that's better than any, bank, anything that can actually govern anything. So super bullish on mining, super bullish on the miners. That's another reason I'm super bullish on what's going on in the mining industry. Speaking of mining, so last week I announced Mine Your Block segment here. So this is a really cool idea. So what ends up happening is every 10 minutes, Bitcoin, the miners mine a new block. So what I was thinking is 10,000 sats gets you 10 minutes on the show. And then, like I said a little while ago, because the developers are everything here, they're the ones that actually make sure that all this is new, it's working, and it's functioning for us. Then we get 5,000 of those sats. So 50% of the sats that come in that you donate to the show are going to go right to open sats. And on a monthly basis, I'll make that deposit just so it's a bigger pot and not just small amounts. So this is an opportunity for you to do 2 things with 10,000 sats. A few things actually, which are super beneficial. You can come in and talk about Bitcoin, only Bitcoin. Please, if you come out here and you talk about some shit coins or some other stuff, you will lose your 10,000 sats. I will just cut you off the show. But if you're gonna come here, you can talk to me about a topic. You can bring up something you're working on. You can ask me questions about maybe something that I could answer when it comes to Bitcoin. Whatever you want. You have 10 minutes to mine your block, as I like to think about it in the back of my head, to talk your shit. And all for a good cause, to be able to keep this content going. 1, to be able to plug yourself in and just be on the show, which is fantastic. And we'll be able to support the devs. And that's the most important part there. We got other strategies coming up to be able to support the devs. But remember, this stuff doesn't work without their tedious action and their constant grind, whether it's they're being paid for or not. Most of the time, they're not. So we have our very first Mind Your Block segment. And this person reached out to me going by G. To be honest, most of the people that are going to come on the show, I probably won't know. Maybe a few of them I do. But this is really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm gonna shoot G a message here, and I'm gonna have him jump into this chat, and we're gonna let G mine his block. All right, so we got a message out to G here. It's fantastic. Yeah, guys. So to be able to get on the show, just to reach out to me in my DMs, either DeFBeD or Talking in Bits. I manage both of them. Reach out to me, and all you have to do is just go to the Talking in Bits donation page on talkinginbits.com and basically just send you 10,000 sats. Send me a screen cap of the confirmation, and we'll start figuring it out from there. We'll start setting it up for you to be able to come on the show and mine your block like G's about to do as soon as he comes in. He just gave me the thumbs up that he's coming. So now we got to wait. By the way, you don't have to get doxxed. You don't have to do video if you don't want to, but that's completely up to you. Let's get G up in here. Haha, I had a good feeling, my man. I was like, I know G. G, what's good?
What up? How's it going, man?
It's going very well. Let me do some magic back here to pin you on my screen. Thank you for joining me. I knew when I saw your name, I was like, I know G. Hey, man, nice to see you, brother. Thanks for supporting the show, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just living it up here. Excited. You're the very first to be able to land on Mind Your Block. And I was just telling the listeners a little bit about how that go. And hopefully we can, support these devs that make this stuff happen for us, but also keep the lights on here and support the show. So without further ado, good sir, mind your block, man.
Yeah, man. I saw your last rip about minding your block. And I really liked the concept. Really cool, very futuristic. I didn't really get it, and then I don't know what happened, but kind of clicked when you did it. And that sounds like, you know what, I'm gonna throw some sats, and I like the cause behind it. And yeah, it's very interesting. I didn't even know I was gonna be the first guy, so lucky me.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's just like, I don't know if you remember, like I was big on like the radio when I was growing up. Right, so like people would call in, and that was always fascinating to me. Right, it was like really cool. Sometimes you get these crazy stories, sometimes you wouldn't get the crazy stories. So I was like, okay, how can I do that for the podcast, but do it realistically? And then I even thought about like, this is gonna sound very fiat-ish of me, but I even thought about like a Patreon subscription, where it was like, hey, you sign up $5-10, you get a certain tier where you can holler at the show and come on the show. And then I was like, nah, fuck that.
Nah, right? Man, 10,000 sats is cool. Like I said, I love the concept. It caught my ear right away, aside from Patreon and all that. It was just so different. Like I said, all Bitcoin, all BTC, all Lightning. I'm down with it. So it's like, sure, contributing to the devs also and the show. Yeah, too good.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So let me know a little bit about what you got going on. Do you got anything going on in the Bitcoin space? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, down here, I'm here in Austin, Texas with Austin Bitcoin Club. Those guys are crazy down here. You know, Car and Kyle, obviously.
Shout out to them.
Shout out Car and Kyle. The Ben's hosting the Bid Devs this week, Thursday. So that's going on. All this crazy Bitcoin stuff. Yeah, and then San Antonio, actually, we're getting that going on. The guys in Austin are actually helping me getting everything going down there. So yeah, Texas is just a big Bitcoin, how do I say this? Wild West down here, man. It's the Mecca.
Yeah, I love it. When we spoke last time, I thought when you said the San Antonio meetup, I thought you were actually from San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. No, born and raised, yeah, I'm from there.
Okay, gotcha.
But right now I'm just so close to the source, man. It's kind of like, just want to help them extend these hands that they have around Austin to the city. And yeah, just keep a good thing going. Why ruin it, right? We're right next to each other.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's actually, so San Antonio is what, like 2 hours away, 1 hour away?
Yeah, it's like maybe an hour, like 40 minutes. Not too bad. A lot of my friends and family are from there. I go there all the time. So I'd always ask, like, hey, man, is anything going on down there? And kept saying no. And eventually it was like, do you want to do it? So just stepped up. It was really cool, actually, too, because at Miami, they were really pushing the meetups, create them. I didn't know that was going to be a theme. So that was really cool to see how there were other meetups there and other leaders, and just kind of see this whole little network we're all creating, you know? sure the same goes with you and other value for value podcasters and everything. You know, you plug in and it's like, man, it's like your family almost.
Indeed. It's magical. It's like the greatest community I've ever been a part of. And then I think I spoke about it in one of the other rips where it's like, you know, to those Bitcoiners, because there was a lot of Bitcoiners obviously saying, you know, hey, Miami was shitcoinery, and I'm going to ask you your opinion on that in a second. But to me, it's one of those things where it's like, I've gotten an experience from going out there in Austin, meeting you, meeting others like you, where it's like, you need to be around Bitcoiners to understand. If you haven't done that, you're missing a whole big piece of this. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
Oh, man, very true. That was like a real big piece of me starting the meetup in San Antonio. You know, I experienced, like you said, an experience I carry with me still to this day. Opportunities keep opening up every time I keep showing up, keep meeting quality people, quality conversations. And yeah, I noticed my city was missing that. Every time I'd go back, you'd be checking in and nothing would happen. So yeah, we started it up. We got that going, got some signal going. I'm the worst person to ask about Miami because I tell everybody I'm spoiled because I'm in Austin. So I'm always in and around the guys, or, you know, I'll see them out, you know, grabbing some food somewhere or something. So down here, you know, the Mecca, we're already going like that. Bitcoin standard. These guys are going crazy down here. The devs, everybody. Miami, I actually, to be honest, I like it. I think it's a good little getaway for all of us. You know, the weather's always going to be warm when we get down there, so everybody can get some sun. You know, I'm sure up north, you know what I'm saying, it was still cold when you left.
For sure.
Texas was a little iffy. I heard we got some rain down here. It was pretty gloomy. So, I mean, and, you know, it was pretty nice. I think it's a nice location. Interested to see what they do next. It was only my second one. Still blessed to go, blessed to meet everybody, you know, just blessed to be, like I said, a part of it, man.
Yeah, I haven't gone to any of them. I always like, you know, well, this year I actually got some stuff going on where, you know, we're trying to, my wife and I are transitioning down there to Austin or the area. So like, you know, I was like, look, I need to focus on that. I need to be on that. But ultimately, long story short, it's just excuses, bro. Like I could go out there and fly out for a few days and get back. I just, you know, stack sats and stay humble. I'm just chilling. But I got a little FOMO this year.
No, man. This year, I mean, shoot, if y'all make it down here with the kids, sometimes I see it meetup, like kids come through. That's everybody in San Antonio. You know, yeah, family-friendly environment. Of course, everyone's just hanging out, just good people. Like I said, you know, value for value, you already know.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Sure, you'll love it, man. It's just another world. And yeah, just trying to spread it, man.
So when's the next San Antonio meetup? When's the how is that coming out? Is people actually turning out? Or what's the crowd looking like?
Yeah, man. So we do it the second Thursday of every month. Plugs right in between Austin's meetups because they have a first Thursday it's Austin Bitcoin Club, and then third Thursday it's the Bit Devs. So second you can go to San Antonio if you want, and then the fourth is Houston Bitcoin. So you can go to their meetups too. So you can kind of do a Bitcoin event every week here in Texas if you want. Pretty cool. And then little micro events here and there going on in Houston, Austin, San Antonio. We're just getting that going, man. People are showing up. First visit, we had about 30, had a lot of home miners. Some devs showed up. So that was pretty cool. And this last one we just had right after the conference, signal is really high. Had a lot of, actually had a couple members come back from Miami. So everybody was talking about their experiences and what they saw new. And, you know, we talked about like Terra and a whole bunch of stuff. So it was a good time, man. It was good. Yeah. So every second Thursday of the month, we're growing. Like I said, small right now, but it's crazy when I talk to like other people, they say those are big numbers for a startup. So it's like, all right, well, let's keep it going. So just going to keep mining block for block, man. Just like you, just keep it going. Stay consistent. And yeah, put out signal, they'll show up.
That proof of work. Yeah, no, I can't wait to not only visit San Antonio because I've never been, but to definitely go out to one of the meetups for sure. I didn't think about it as the sense that you can do a Bitcoin event every single week. That's a great point. I was just always thinking it was like you had to pick. Like, oh, shit, I got to go to this one or I got to go to that one. But it's spread out nicely.
See, and that's where I saw that too. I was like, well, that's pretty nice. You know, if you miss one week, it could be like, oh, I'll wait a couple of days and go to this one. So very convenient. It just so happened to work out like that. So we're happy with that.
Yeah, no, all the success to you. If you guys listeners, if you guys are in the Austin area or Texas in general, check out the San Antonio meetup. G, we're approaching our time here. Let the listeners know where they could get info on the club, and you maybe if you want to share that information, where you want them to go.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate it. You can find us on Twitter at San Antonio Bitcoin Club. We have the website sanantoniobitcoinclub.com. My personal Twitter is at money, the number 2, and the letter B, and I should show up. And just don't be no strangers, man. Come on through. Come on down to Texas, and we'll show y'all a good time down here.
Hey, I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna be there Thursday. I'll see you Thursday, by the way. We're gonna talk.
Hey, look forward to it, man.
Hey, G, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for being the first ever to mind your block. For sharing that Bitcoin. Oh yeah, for sharing that Bitcoin knowledge and continuing to preach Satoshi's words. Right, that's what these meetups are about, to get more people onboarded. And you're definitely doing that for your hometown, and I appreciate that, brother.
Oh man, just trying to contribute. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you're doing already, man. Love the show, big fan, and look forward to see you continue to grow.
Thank you, man. With support like y'all, we'll definitely be up there and we'll grow together. But thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
You too. All right. So we had G there from Austin. Shout out to G and everything that they got going on in the San Antonio area. I spoke to G out there, one of the most humblest dudes I've met while out there. But, you know, there's a long list of humble people out there in Texas doing the work of Satoshi. So G's just another example of that. That was the Mind Your Block segment. That could be you. Once again, reach out to me in my DMs, DeFBeD, DeFBeD. That's just my personal one. And or you could just reach out to @TalkingInBits and hit me up in the DM. Go head over to the talkinginbits.com donate page. You'll be able to drop your 10,000 sats there. Shoot me a screen cap, and we'll set up a date for you to be able to come on and ask questions. If that's what you want to do, do what G did and just talk to me one-on-one. Be able to plug your stuff for your work that you got going on. Bitcoin only is the rule. And if it's not Bitcoin only, then you're going to lose your sats. So that's solo rip number 5. We look forward to doing these more and more and more and getting more and more of y'all to come on the show and be able to talk to me, talk some shit, mind your block. You can catch us on Bitcoin TV. You can catch us on Fountain app, on Breeze. That's how you can give us value for value. Bitcoin TV is just a dope-ass platform. But if you guys are not up to there yet, that's fantastic. You can go to the more proven legacy pages like YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all those places. You'll be able to find Talking in Bits. We appreciate you guys as always. Solo rip number 5 in the books. Later.